Brands need to just have a hard look at what they're doing.
Hi there and welcome to From Ideas to Results. I'm joined by Holly from our content and digital PR team, and we're going to be exploring all the things that have been happening in the last 30 days when it comes to content. Now, Holly, you've recently been to Brighton SEO and there's some interesting talks that you've kind of looked at. Maybe can you summarize this sort of one thing which we've kind of picked on here, which is the humanistic SEO?
So it was a session run by Megan Roberts. Humanistic SEO is taking the technical side of SEO, marrying it with the psychology of buyer intent, and then that is then frames your strategy. So actually, from that point of view, it seems quite simple and seems like something that we should all be doing already. But I think it was a good reminder for everyone in the room that you need to really focus on buyer intent. She spoke a little bit about how AI is going to be impacting that as well.
How can we potentially use AI in this process?
You can use Gummy Search, which is a great tool. One of the key things that actually was a whole trend across Brighton SEO was how Reddit is becoming a bigger tool or a bigger space for brands to actually truly understand what their buyers want. The thing is that on Reddit, people are very honest and open. They don't hold back. So Gummy Search basically trawls all of the online space, including Reddit, and it then pulls together buyers' views and takes on everything. And then it topic clusters it into like frustrations, to highlights, to benefits. And it means that a brand can get a real true picture, because often when you're looking at market research or trying to understand what your buyer wants, if they've completed a research survey, it can obviously be a little bit biased because they're looking at it in that moment. You know, they're not there at 3 a.m. really frustrated because a product hasn't worked or they're asking for help or something on Reddit. It's a fantastic way to pull together all that information and build that sentiment analysis around it.
What impact will it have, not necessarily just Gummy Search, but this approach to more kind of customer centric in the world of AI?
You get higher engagement rate because you are directly talking to your buyer as they want to be spoken to, which is fantastic. You get lower bounce rates on pages because the content on that page is geared to what they're looking for. If we're looking at the whole one-step search and everything else like that we've been talking about, it kind of all leads into that from that point of view. Stronger social sharing, you get much better brand advocates because they truly understand what your business is and what benefits to them there are. And then also you get improved brand trust and recall, which I think is really important. And I think when we're looking at it from a brand could be super hot technically, but actually how do you build that trust? And I think particularly from a digital PR point of view, that was really interesting to see how that process goes along from technical side of SEO really naturally through the content that they're engaging with and then through to brand trust.
I guess in terms of what businesses need to do, brands need to do going forward, what do they need to change?
First and foremost, structure pages with emotion first messaging. You need to address the desires and concerns of your customer up front. If you've got a product or a service that directly addresses an issue that they might have, that needs to be up front versus perhaps some of the features which should feature, excuse the pun, slightly later down in a different type of content or a different point, because that's the emotional desire side is what people are going to initially attract to, and then they go down.
Yeah.
And I think quite a lot brands can kind of get focused in like, oh, well, we've got this new feature or this new feature, and it's kind of that so what question. And then prioritize clear, skimmable content. Again, when we're talking about GEO, it is really important to make sure you've got those answers within your copy, you've got those answers within your website, because that's ultimately what's going to be pulling up on the search engines and ultimately what people want. Being quite explicit, like, what does this product do for me? Or how can this help me achieve X?
Yeah.
Put it out there. You know, don't hide it in fluff.
What would you be doing kind of next to embrace this approach?
I think personally brands need to just have a hard look at what they're doing. So I think having a good review of everything they've got and actually truly understand, does this answer our buyer's needs? So starting back from basics, maybe utilizing Gummy Search, looking at that audience sentiment and actually rebuilding that up again, because again, it's a moving parts, right? Just because your buyer wants something in January, we're now where we are in the year. So we need to continuously update those, and they're like a living thing. Start from there and then have a really harsh look at what's on your website.
Be honest.
Be honest. Technically it might be absolutely lush, which is brilliant, but you need to have that buyer focus in as well.
Well, there we go. What I love about marketing is actually this is something that pretty much is run as a core value of marketing, is always customer centric. The challenge and the thing that I've seen evolve over the last 15 odd years is how you go about making sure that you do that, how you understand from it. So this seems like the latest kind of step, utilizing AI to really help you to understand those customer needs, gather that information so that we can answer their challenges, queries, questions more effectively. That is it from us. I hope you enjoyed that. As ever, if you'd like to find out more about our content, it's available on our social channels, on our website, and again, we'll see you next month.